Dan, are you ready to rock and roll?
I lose you.
I am.
I was looking all over for you. There you are, right in front of me. Ladies and gentlemen, past District Governor Dan Garrison.
I had a friend who said his favorite thing to do is break dance. Every time he danced, he broke something. So, okay, we're going to talk about team building. Why is team building used in committees and teams in a Rotary Club? Any ideas?
How did I lose it? How did I lose it?
To enhance communications.
Okay, enhanced communication.
I'm just guessing.
Good guess.
Yes.
Because we can do so much more together than we can do individually.
What's the difference between a committee and a team?
Committee's a group of people, and a team is everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, a committee designs a camel.
Right. The
Okay.
camel is okay.
And a team is more likely to come up with the horse. So it's building the team is one of the things. Was Be a Vibrant Club introduced in part 1?
Yes.
Participants?
Yeah, it was on the list of attachments, but it really didn't fit into the discussion.
Okay. The Be a Vibrant Club is one of Rotary's publications. It's only like 3 pages, but it gives a club an idea. It helps build a 5-year plan. It's what it's designed to do. In other words, what does our club want to be when it grows up? And it's that kind of roadmap that it helps develop. And in that process, where you have to talk about what it means to you, whatever it is, and others are talking about what it means to them, find out your commonalities and your differences, and are able to start working on that, of working together and utilizing both. By the way, on diversity, we keep talking we want diversity. One of the determinations of diversity is also age. Okay? Not just your economic status or race or culture. Age is in there too, because we can be in the same culture but have very different viewpoints based on when we grew up, what happened to us, etc. So all of that can help add in the team building. How do you make effective use of teams and committees in Rotary? How do you do that?
Bring them together and feed them.
Okay, that's one. Yeah. Hey, let's take care of basic needs.
Can we add beer?
Yeah, if you're an animal gordo, yes.
I'm a wine drinker.
Works the same way.
You have to go to Tularosa for the wine.
Yeah. We have in Alamogordo. We're a big city.
Okay.
Actually, one of the members of the Tularosa Club owns the Tularosa Winery.
I'm aware.
That's cool. Well, Dan, I was going to say, if you really want a group to be a team, then you want to somehow draw a circle around everyone so that we're all there for the same thing. We all have a vision and a mission that's larger than our individual agendas.
Okay. Yes. Okay, Jeff, could you put up that the committee page, please? These are the ways that are recommended, by Rotary. Some clubs do it very differently, but just look at the committee structures, the various ones that are there. It tends to get more jumbled as the smaller the club gets. There's some of our small clubs that work as committees of the whole. So everyone does everything. Everyone's involved in everything. In a larger club, that's not the case. In Alamogordo, how's your committee structure look? Which one of these most closely resembles it?
We have the committees. We have the RILA, Scholarship, Little League. We have them all, and then we have the chairman and then a few members of the committee listed in our, and it's listed in our directory.
Okay. Any other clubs? Which one is closest to yours?
Actually, the Albuquerque Club of Rio Grande is close to what was described.
You cut out, Don. Closest to which?
To the one that we just heard described.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to the committee of the whole.
Yes.
So Rancho Sunrise is going to be option 3.
Okay.
That's the White Sands Club also.
How does it work for your club?
For our club, it works really well. Everybody's involved with everything.
Okay.
We have our president, and everybody works off of his suggestions or her suggestions. And we're all volunteers. We're all workers, which is nice. Usually you have 10 people that do all the work and the rest sit there. I know I've been in a club like that. So I had a board like that. I know how that goes. But this group, everybody's a mover and shaker. So it's really exciting to be in this group. Everybody does their part. Nobody drops the ball.
Oh, that's great. How important is a delegation of tasks and duties? Okay, Jeff, you can take that down now. Thank you. How important is delegation of tasks and duties? Are they the same thing?
Yeah,
How do they differ?
Absolutely essential, because it brings in everybody as part of the team.
Okay.
Could I offer a distinction?
Sure.
The term delegate, if you look at it in the dictionary, really seems to embrace parceling things out from a central authority. Whereas
That's correct.
what we really are looking for, I think, is empowering accountability. So allowing people to own whatever their area is. And then, you empower that, you make sure that they're clear on what the outcomes are, but then you get out of the way.
Is every club at that point?
Not always, no.
So we're talking about the whole thing, and that is correct. That's where many of us are most comfortable. That is not where some of us are comfortable.
Yes.
How about contrasting duties and tasks?
Well, tasks are more parceled than duties. You finish that when you can have one more, sort of thing.
Okay. The legal definition is duties are imposed by a legal or moral obligation. I.e., I take on this office, therefore the tasks I do at it are my duty. Okay?
Yes.
The tasks are the job, that individual little thing that has to be done.
Right.
Call Margaret about.
Exactly.
Okay.
The to-do list.
Right.
But you can, maybe I ought to write a governor's message about this one, because, because really, the more you're parceling things out, the less ownership and creativity and innovation and passion were allowed. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But how many people do you need to do one task?
Well, that's true. That's true. You don't need that many, but if the tasks are part of a larger picture, then
right,
people will find them for themselves.
I'm saying that what I'm saying is, yes, having that team effort, but each person in that team needs to carry their load.
Yes, precisely.
I would like to add a word into this, Dan, and that is ownership.
Yes.
I think you want everybody to feel ownership so they get excited about what their part is.
Past District Governor Reba Lovren used to say, once you volunteer, you're no longer a volunteer. You have taken on the obligation.
Well, that's daunting.
She could be pretty daunting.
Yeah.
Our fellowship at church, we have when you join the retreat, you sign a yes contract. That means that you say yes to whatever they give you. That's your task. You can't get out of it. That's what you're going to do. So you can't question what you're doing.
I wanted to comment on Sunny's use of the words when she said the empowering accountability as being the leadership role or style that we as leaders need to be working on developing. Anybody can delegate. Anybody can say, you go do that. But not everybody can really empower that person to do it and be accountable for the result that is going on. And so I really liked that, Sunny. I really liked what you had to say.
Thank you, Tim.
Well, I happen to agree with you. That is where we're going.
Yeah.
I'm also saying that's not where we are. We have people who we actually have people who cannot delegate.
Well,
they have to try to do everything themselves.
Yeah. There's a big difference between cannot and will not.
Well, and I want to say too that I think not only is there an art to being accountable, but there's an art to empowering accountability. It's not that you give it to them and walk away. You make sure you've made the outcomes clear. You make sure that they have the resources they need. You make sure that there's a structure for staying in communication. All of those things make all the difference in whether the person's set up to win.
Right.
And we don't teach that yet.
Trust but verify.
Another good tool is a timeline.
Oh, a timeline's a very good tool, yes. Thank you.
And periodically checking and seeing if they have what they need, what obstacles they've come into, how can we go left instead of right, or what do we need to do to actually get there?
Okay, building team allows for some things that a committee formally organized traditional committee does not. Okay, that is top down. That it's designed to be that way. The team building allows for situational leadership. Anyone have an idea what I mean by that?
Pat.
Sure, Pat.
Depends on who's in charge, what they're trying to accomplish. Some people need to be led. Some people need to kind of be left alone, and some people just need a gentle push. You just have to read what they need.
Okay. What about being in charge of something on the group? How would situational leadership apply? Okay, Dan's best at killing them with verbiage. So we're going to let Dan do that. Okay. Sonny's best at making them feel good. We're going to let Sonny do that. Sonny's in charge of those activities. Okay. Jesse is going to make sure everything is lined up in the right order. So we're going to let Jesse lead that. That's situational leadership. And it's a team working together to accomplish something. But
there's another important aspect, Dan.
Okay.
In designing a project or a plan or an initiative, very often the quietest, least verbal participant will come up with an idea nobody thought of that crystallizes everything. And so really what you're doing in building a team to address an issue is you're developing leadership.
Yes.
Yes.
Good input.
Dan?
Yes.
One other aspect of situational leadership, I was told once that if you are the one who sees that something is missing, it is likely it is yours to provide.
I think that's probably true.
Allows people to step forward at the moment where they see that they can make a difference.
Right. What in a committee? Okay. What is the role of the committee chair?
Organization.
Facilitation.
Okay. Organization, facilitation.
Make sure everybody's a part of the activity. Make sure everybody's engaged.
Engaged. Okay.
See that it's mission accomplished when finished.
Yes.
Okay. With a team, where do those responsibilities lie?
I think in both directions, from leadership and from people assigned their individual responsibilities.
Right. However we look at it, okay, our organizations of labor are some form of bureaucracy. Okay, because that's the only way we as human beings have found out how to describe it and how to lay it out. We always have some delineation of duties, whether it's a team or a committee. It's still there. What would be the club president's role in a committee or toward a committee?
Making sure they have everything.
Inspiration.
Pat?
Making sure they have everything they need to succeed.
Okay. Someone else spoke up and I...
Don, was it you?
That was Don, but you know what?
Don and then Meredith?
Yeah.
I was going to say, what was just said is what I would have gone to say. So,
okay.
My there. Thank you.
Okay.
Meredith wanted to say something.
She's muted.
One word. Inspiration.
Okay.
Did you get it that time?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. In a traditional setting, the club president is defining the initial mission, doing follow-up and deadlines, and then be available as a resource. Okay. That's also true with a team. How you do it may be done differently, but it's still the same. Okay, we're going to look at a coat of arms. Okay. I'm going to read the instructions because they are very insistent that it be accurate. Jeff is putting that up. They will be dividing into groups. We'll have 20 minutes. If you have a blank piece of paper to draw on, that would be helpful. Heraldry is the practice of designing, displaying, describing, and recording a coat of arms. It is a system of identification that is a very personal and unique form of individual or group expression. A coat of arms is used to illustrate specific characteristics, deeds, accomplishments, or traits that are important to the individual or organization. The term blazon comes from the German to blow the horn. At a tournament, the herald would sound the trumpet, and it was their duty to explain the meaning of the shields or coat of arms to the other participants. Thus, blazon meant to describe a shield in words using heroic terms, heraldic terms, pardon me. The goal is to design, develop, and explain a Rotary coat of arms and heraldry. You're not limited to using the enclosed blank shield. You may design a coat of arms in whatever manner you wish. However, all items, symbols, colors, or designs must be explained and relevant to Rotary, their clubs, or districts. Note that artwork, colors, and designs do not have to be perfect. Thank goodness I'm married to an artist. I never meet the standard. But they need to be clear enough so that they can be explained and so the class can understand the concepts presented. Okay, now after you've had a chance to explain it, we'll have a few moments for follow-up questions. We'll have 20 minutes. You'll be in breakout sessions. I will be roaming. You will have someone in there to try to help answer any questions. Remember, the coat of arms to your Rotary, what you would like Rotary, so how you see Rotary, what you would like Rotary to be. Okay.
So before we break into rooms, if we leave 5 minutes when we reconvene, that'll be enough time to do the report outs. Dan?
Boo. Yeah, probably.
Okay, so we're gonna reconvene at 20 after to leave 5 minutes for report outs.
Okay.
You have to be succinct.
Yeah. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Piece of paper, that's fine too. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
So we're going to have Jerry be our artist, and we can do anything we want with this coat of arms on page 32 in our participant materials. Our charge is to design something that captures our vision, our commitment in Rotary. So who has some ideas?
Community service has to be online somewhere.
It does. Service should be online. How would we do that as a design?
And one of you, whoever's drawing it,
it's Jerry.
Okay, so if you want to hold up whatever you draw so people can see it periodically.
I'm a terrible artist. However, I have lots of pictures in my brain. One thing I was thinking was the servant leadership could be expressed as hands, offering. Any other ideas?
I think community service or service to community could be a bridge.
Ooh.
Ooh, good.
That's good, Bob.
Thanks. That's it for this weekend.
You've shot your wad on creativity, have you?
Yep.
So put a bridge in one of the four corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bridge.
I think maybe in that center line, it should be the rotary wheel.
That's a great idea. The rotary wheel. With, of course, the word Rotary next to it, right? The master brand. Jessica, do you have any thoughts?
Yes, I was thinking about we can draft like a globe because for all the exchange and Rotary programs.
I think that's a terrific idea. That was my dream too.
How about the globe and the wheel and Rotary in the middle?
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of three parts of the middle banner.
Are you getting this, Jerry?
Was it the wheel, the globe,
the Rotary, the globe and the wheel, and Rotary.
What was the third one?
The word Rotary between the two, the globe and the wheel.
Oh, or you put the wheel in the middle.
Maybe something to do with handshaking and partnerships with other clubs and the community.
Yeah, handshaking shows partnership with other clubs, with the community, with the world, with ambassadors.
Yeah.
I love that. Can we do handshaking? That's way beyond my artistic abilities. But
Yes,
we can do it with stick for the figures.
Stick figures. You can always use stick figures, yes. I think that's really great. I wouldn't mind seeing a heart somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got the bottom two little segments to do.
That's right. Jerry, can you show us what you've got so far so that we can kind of picture?
And if you're in speaker view, sorry, if you're in gallery view, you should be able to toggle on the top right to get the gallery view. And if Jerry is speaking, we'll see a bigger image of him.
Oh.
I'm still trying to do some stuff. So you guys can keep talking. I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I got something kind of decent.
Okay. Do you all see that toggle between speaker view and gallery view?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was thinking about Rotary's core values. You know, if you have hands shaking and a bridge and the globe, we've definitely got service and probably fellowship. Is there any way to capture diversity or integrity or leadership?
Well, I think diversity we can, and community you could get with a bunch of stick figures, some colored and some not.
That's a great idea. Multicolored handshaking, for example.
Yeah.
Mm.
We're not afraid of silences because this is a creative process. Any other thoughts coming to mind? Cooked or uncooked?
I lost track. Do we have something in each of the four corners right now?
We're getting close.
I have a handshake, a bridge, and I need 2 more.
Take a bridge. Is a heart in one of them?
I need 1 more.
1 more.
And I don't know if you had a flame. What does a flame supposed to represent? Truth
and constancy. It does constancy also, right?
It's easy to draw though.
For you, maybe.
Oh, George.
So,
give you this.
You have the heart in one quadrant.
Yeah. I think we have a heart in one quadrant. Do we not, Jerry?
Yes,
so let's see. We have the globe.
Sorry, I have a bridge, a heart, and then what was the other 2 in the corners?
Handshaking.
Oh, that's right, handshaking.
Multicolored handshaking.
Multicolored. What?
Well, 1 white, 1 brown. Or 1 black. Or
So we have handshaking.
I have a black pen that's going to be 1 color.
I didn't hear you, Jerry. What was that?
I only have a black pen, so it's going to be 1 color handshake.
Okay.
We can imagine the other colors.
You can put the words brown, white.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a good artist, okay, so.
Then how about a hamburger and the other for social?
Well, I had a couple of other things to throw out to you.
Okay.
One is stick figures marching up a hill, or standing at the top of a mountain with a flag, some kind of way of showing leadership and achievement and accomplishment. That was one thought I had. The other
that would be a good one to put a syringe
so,
on it.
So
okay,
go ahead and go to speaker view so you can see.
Go to speaker view. Say something, Jerry, so that we see you.
You see me up here?
Yeah.
Not yet. Now keep talking.
Yeah, just keep talking.
No.
Oh, this is great. Yes, this is really great. Excellent. Yeah.
Sorry, not a great artist. So.
You're doing really great, Jerry. So we have 1 more quadrant, and we've got fellowship
And we're going to put the hill, the people marching up.
Hill marching up.
Well, wait a minute. Do we have a globe? I don't
and
think
a syringe. Yeah, it was in the middle. It was in the middle part.
A blank quadrant to represent the future.
There you go. That's easier to draw.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. We're going to have a globe. Remember, Jessica mentioned a globe. Do we have a globe in there, Jerry? I don't think
it's in the middle. It's in the middle of the rotary.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Jessica?
Or a question mark for the future.
Or a syringe.
That was for the polio.
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
I prefer the sugar cubes.
Yeah. That would
You're
be
just showing your age then.
an eyedropper.
Amen.
Maybe an eyedropper.
We went to the Civic Center and got our sugar cube with our little circle on it.
I remember that. Yeah.
Actually, the headquarters for Cheyenne Frontier Days is where we got it.
Ah. So what else? Is anything else missing? How are we doing on time?
Colors.
I need 1 more in the corner. What am I putting in the 4th corner? The flip your set of.
Okay.
Or open doors. You have open doors behind you.
That's right. That's our theme for this year.
Open doors?
Open doors.
Oh, God.
Opportunities, which is kind of like the future, right, George?
Right.
Yeah.
I'll take door number 2.
I think that works. Jeff, how are we doing on time?
Fine.
Okay. So now we just want colors for it, right? That's going to be challenging. Jerry, do you have colors handy?
We can put an R for red and a B for blue.
There you go. We can do that. So show us again, Jerry, and you have to talk while you do it so we can use speaker view to get a close-up look. And everyone look and see if anything is missing for this to capture Rotary for you. We have to wait just a moment, Jerry's hard at work.
Way to go, Jerry.
Way to go, Jerry. We are so blessed. We should all have a resident artist at our elbow, shouldn't we?
See how this looks. This is too quick, too fast.
Okay.
Of course, I don't know.
Keep talking. Keep talking. Oh, okay. Open doors, heart, Rotary, and the globe.
So, Sonny, you have to stop talking. Sorry.
There's a handshaking. There's a bridge. The Rotary wheel, the kind of world, and then the open doors. With the doors open on the side with the, I don't know what I'm going to put in the middle, the heart.
Yep.
Perfect. Comments, questions, things to add?
That's good.
We got an applause from Jessica. That's really good. Everyone know how to applaud?
Thank you.
That's great. Good work, everyone. Does it feel complete to you?
Oh, yes.
I may roam to the other rooms and see if they're done. And if they are, I may stop a minute early.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff.
And you're the one that doesn't have your picture up there. What the heck?
Yeah, my home computer, I don't have a webcam, so.
I didn't think I did either, but there's a button at the top of my screen that you can push.
I've got a desktop that I use that with some special stuff, and you.
So we've got to promote our imagery. What else do we want to put in here? So we talked about ethics, international fellowship, community growth.
Maybe on the where you have your hand, you can add some orange. I don't know, like on the background or something, as it represents youth and optimism.
Orange, really? Okay.
Orange, yes.
Well, how about if we give Mickey some orange? Does that work for you?
Sounds great.
Sort of orange, yeah.
We're down to less than a minute. So 1 minute on the screen. Notice.
Okay. So.
That is awesome.
All right, so
I think we got to go last, because if not, it's going to be hard for the other teams.
Oh man.
So Eric, could we post this like in the district newsletter? Or,
absolutely.
I don't know. I'm sure if it could go on our website, but hey, you guys. Wow.
Let's see. My computer doesn't like sharing at the moment.
Okay, that's
but
all right.
Yes.
So what city are you in, Eric?
First thing I want to say is wow.
Yeah.
Were
you peeking in on this?
I was peeking in on everybody.
Oh, you sneaky boy. Well, we had fun doing this one.
We did.
Well, it made me think. I really had a dull group when I went through RLI.
Wow.
We Jesse, who's going to report for your group?
Well, I think I am.
Okay.
I'll get it started and let everybody pop in. So, bear with me. It took a while for this to take a minute ago.
Arturo, can you take pictures for Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, did you guys find this team building or committee?
Team building.
Yes.
Team building.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
Everyone has fun under it.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so here we have our coat of arms, and at the center of it is the whole notion, service above self, which we are all about. And we certainly have to follow the Rotary branding guidelines, so we have a gear in there with service above self. And at the top, we portray that we're both a community. You see this city there, obviously. I didn't have to tell you that was a city. And on the upper right, we're also international. So that's a globe in case anybody didn't see that. And then
I thought it was Facebook.
What?
I thought it was
Facebook.
You too.
You can also connect the world with
Facebook is international.
Yeah.
And to the bottom, we have that we are a very ethical organization, and you see the scales of justice in the lower left, and we're about friendship. And Luis is going to talk about the color symbology.
Okay, so we can see in the middle, the service above self, it's red, because red represents action, represents strength, passion. That's why we decided to put like in the middle. And then we can see the orange in the fellowship hand, with the hand, like the Mickey Mouse hand, because it represents optimism and youth. So through fellowship, like we can find all, we include like the young generations. I don't know if I'm missing anything else, but I can add that we also have yellow for positivity, and well, the whole shield is blue. We can add that to trust.
And we'll adapt all the colors to meet Rotary standard branding guidelines.
Very
nice. We're very grateful for that.
How did you find the process?
Well, the process I thought worked pretty well. We started really just with the words at the bottom. So we're trying to talk through, well, what goes into it? And then that ultimately leads to the main things we want on the screen. The process was okay. The drawing had some challenges.
Good job, Jesse. All of you.
Yeah, good group.
Okay,
so
which was the next group? We had group 2.
We would like to go last if we can. I'm not sure which group we were.
Well, okay,
Group
then
1.
we would go next. Jerry,
Okay.
are you ready?
Sonny?
Yes, ma'am.
Jerry is our artist.
Hi, PDG Doreen.
So Jerry
Hi,
needs
how
to-
are you?
Okay.
So Jerry needs
PDG Dan.
So Jerry needs to be speaking, and you all need to go to speaker view so you'll see him larger. Because he's not here.
So nobody say a word except for Jerry.
As you can see, the bridge there's a bridge that looks like a bridge. Handshake.
Jerry, can you make it a little bit to the left, a little behind, the other left, the other left. There.
Okay, I can. Okay.
A little bit back, so I can take a picture. A little bit to back, yeah, a little bit more, a little bit more. A little bit to the top. There we go, perfect.
And now Jerry talks so you can see it.
Okay, there's a bridge on my left. There's the handshaking on the right. There's a rotary wheel on the left. With the rotary, then the globe. And there's a heart. and those are open doors with a question mark in the middle.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I didn't have any colors, and I tried to put it on a notepad, and it wouldn't write. I was trying to put it, download it on, so I could show it to you, and you guys are too quick.
Thank you, Jerry. Nice job.
Very nice. Everybody's on the same page. Look at us.
Look at us. We're so good.
Okay, let's, Kathy, your group.
All right, so guys, I told you that I was going to hire Eric, and so stand by. Eric, show us what you've got there, my friend.
Just one.
Show us your magic.
Yeah,
freaked out
guys,
on me
this
real
is
quick.
amazing.
All right, so can I share my screen, Jeff? Is that
yes?
Okay. So this is what we came up with. And it's pretty self-explanatory. We wanted to represent the four parts of the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And is it beneficial? And we wanted to include a globe because Rotary is truly global. So
that's lovely.
Yeah, and the little
We're
symbol
all excited.
Little symbol with truth is the Celtic symbol for truth.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
In the corporate world, this presentation is known as rate busting.
And if you would like T-shirts, just let us know. We'll make that
I know.
We do.
You think they're kidding?
I'm not kidding. That's awesome.
That is.
It is.
And every single one of them really captures what Rotary is about. It's really beautiful. Thank you.
I think we should send it to Chicago.
For sure. Who's the graphic designer?
I am.
That is Eric.
Very good, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
He snapped that out in a heartbeat.
Oh, man.
I'd still be drawing stick figures.
Okay, Jeff, we're just about out of time, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Was that a worthwhile experience?
Yeah.
Sure.
Were you seeing something when it's something that's common, has common meaning to all? But that's your team building. Finding that common purpose. And thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Dan.
Way to go. Thanks so much, Dan.
Thank you.
It's great to have you back on the team. So, ladies and gentlemen, Doreen, Kelsey, we're going from El Paso to Raton to Alamogordo to Nebraska, up to Canada. So, our past district governor, Doreen Kelsey, is going to lead our next session on Foundation 2.
Well, welcome everyone. I'm going to go ahead and start my timer so that I stay on schedule, and we'll allow 5 minutes for questions at the end. We are going to break out early in the session, but first we'll have a very quick recap from part 1. So you might recall that what we discussed about our foundation in part 1 is that the mission of the Rotary Foundation is to enable Rotarians to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through the improvement of health, the support of education, and the alleviation of poverty. Now, what I would like to ask you to do is to reflect on the 2 parts of that statement. So if we look at the first section, it talks about what our aims are through working with the Rotary Foundation. So our aims are those 3 things. Do you remember from that sentence what they were? World understanding is the first one. And goodwill is the second. And of course, peace. So those are the aims of our work funded by the Rotary Foundation. And then the second part of that sentence are the means. So how do we advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace? We do it through the improvement of health, the support of education.
You guys can have one. Oh, wait.
Yes. And the alleviation of poverty. So we have the aim and we have the means. And I just want that to be top of mind, because everything that we discuss going forward is going to have a strong relationship to our aim and to our means. Can anyone tell me what the two categories of grants are in the foundation grant model?
One of them might be global.
Yes or no question, right?
Global grants.
Yes.
And
district grants.
Okay, district grants and global grants. It's very simple. We just have two kinds of grants. And then occasionally, like, as you know, we've had the COVID grants, but there are two primary grants that the Rotary Foundation offers. What kinds of things do you typically do with district grants?
Local projects.
Okay. And how much money do you spend? What's the typical budget with a district grant?
Oh boy.
2 to 4,000, maybe 6,000.
Okay, so smaller scale, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what kinds of projects do you do with global grants typically?
Life-changing projects.
Big impact.
Water.
What was the other comment?
Clean drinking water.
Okay, so water and sanitation, big water projects, larger scale, greater impact.
Health-related projects.
Mm-hmm. And what's different about the location of a global grant compared to a district grant? What's the geographical focus?
International.
Okay. And then anybody have a general idea what the typical budget is for a global grant?
I believe it's 35,000 and up.
Yes, that's pretty, that's the typical, it has to be a minimum of 30. And then of course it can be much greater than that. So some of them are over 100,000, but usually around 30 to 80,000 is a typical global grant. So thank you, Bob. Anyone have any experience with a project? Any of your clubs partnering or implementing any global grants?
Does Bridges to Prosperity count?
I'm not sure that's a global grant yet, is it?
It has been in the past.
It has, okay, good. All right, good. I couldn't remember if that was converted to a global grant. Okay.
It is not right now, though.
Oh, not right
Not
now.
right now, no.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, I think probably one of the better known projects is some of the work that's been done in Guatemala. And I know that the Rotary Club of Santa Fe has spearheaded that for many years with many, many different partners in the district. I know districts in the South have done projects, I think, with Bolivia. Jess, is that correct?
There had been a project that wasn't our club. I think that was Hobbs, wasn't it? That did the Bolivia.
We partnered with them.
Oh, okay. All right.
Albuquerque, Rio Grande has an education global grant.
Fantastic. Where is it situated? Who's the host country?
It's medical and business student in England right now.
Okay. All right. Well, great. Okay, so, and then there's just one other point I want to make. District and global grants are both funded by the Rotary Foundation. And sometimes in our common conversation, we say, oh, the district is funding that. Well, your dues don't fund district grants. It all comes from the Rotary Foundation, and it's all dependent on the money you donate to the annual fund. The difference with a district grant is it's administered by the district, and it's the terms and conditions, as long as they align with the Rotary Foundation's general terms and conditions, are all set by the district. And district grants, the way they're made available, and then the requirements and terms they have, those are all decided by each Rotary district. So they're unique to districts. There are no two districts that do them exactly the same way. But what they do have in common is they are funded by Rotary Foundation Annual Fund, and they are smaller scale projects. Does anybody have any questions about the two kinds of grants?
I do.
Okay.
I know that the money we contributed 3 years ago goes into the fund, it comes back to the district, and it's divided between the two. Are we as a district able to fully utilize the money available to us for district grants? And the same question for global grants.
So the district has done an exceptional job in recent years of fully utilizing the maximum available funding it receives for district grants. And the formula for that is the money you donate to the annual fund. We'll just use an example, very simple, of $100. In 3 years, $50 comes back in the form of district designated funds. And those are, the district determines how to utilize district designated funds. Now we still have access to the World Fund, because that other $50 comes back to us for global grants. So we do get 100% of our money back, but we have more control over the $50 that goes into district designated funds. Now, of that $50, we can use a maximum of 25 for district grants, and the other 25 for the district match on a global grant. So global grants get matched at the district level, and they get matched at the world level. But we do get all the money back. There's a common misunderstanding, I'll say, that we only get 50 cents on the dollar back. But if we actively pursue all the opportunities for global grants, we get all of that money back. If we fully utilize our district grants and our district designated funds for matching global grant budgets, then we're fully utilizing both sides, district funds and world funds. So out of every $100 that gets donated, 25 can fund the district grants. Did that fully answer your question, Jesse?
Yeah, I think so. But what you're saying is we are fully utilizing.
Yeah, we're not sending.
That's the question. Are we fully utilizing?
Yes. Every dollar we get gets allocated to a club for a project. There's never, in recent years, there hasn't been any money left over.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I probably over-answered that question. Okay. So now, okay, thanks.
Doreen, one last question.
Oh, yes, Bob.
So does our club get credit for those of us that are Paul Harris annual contributors?
So Paul Harris Society, they do, with one caveat, and this is sort of a little known distinction. Well, there's two caveats actually. So as a Paul Harris Society member, you can fulfill that voluntary commitment in many different ways. If a Paul Harris Society member fulfills that commitment by donating $1,000 to the annual fund unrestricted, that comes back to the district designated funds. But if you can also fulfill that commitment by donating to Polio Plus or by donating to an approved global grant. If you choose to fulfill your commitment in that manner, then it does not come back to the district. And then there's the second caveat is when I use the word unrestricted. So you can donate to the annual fund and have that restricted to one of the areas of focus. If you do that, it does not come back to district designated funds. So we do want to honor donor intent, but many donors don't realize that by restricting their giving, it doesn't come back to DDF.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for asking that question. Are there any other questions?
Actually, Doreen, I do have another one.
Yeah.
You mentioned in passing COVID grants,
yes,
which are not a ongoing thing, but they're current. Do you have any comments for us about how what's happening there?
I think those have all been fully utilized and they're not currently available to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
Doreen, I believe that the pipeline's still open, that they'll be made available as more money comes in.
Okay. But you can't currently apply, is that correct, Sunny?
I think you can apply and not get anything because there isn't any money there at the moment.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, important distinction there. Thank you for offering that. And okay, so any other questions? I'm glad that we have so many questions. This is great. Okay. So what we're going to do next, and originally we were going to do this for 15 minutes, but I think we need to cut the breakout sessions to 10 minutes. And I think that'll be adequate time. So each of you are going to have a topic. And Jeff, did they get their topics for their respective breakout rooms? Is Jeff on with us?
Yeah, you're unmuted.
Sorry.
You're muted.
I'm going to put it in the chat as soon as you're ready to go. I've got it ready to go.
Oh, is that how we're going to do it? Okay, so in one of the breakout rooms, you're going to discuss areas of focus and why they're important. In the next breakout session, breakout room, you're going to talk about what is meant by sustainable and what is the value of sustainability. And then the third group is going to talk about community needs assessments.
Right,
so we'll go ahead.
I just put it in the chat with
okay.
Who is facilitating each one so that you all know which group you're in.
Okay, great. I see it in there. Okay, so we're going to go into breakout now. And then, Jeff, how do I roam among the breakout rooms?
You'll be assigned to a room initially, but you'll have the ability to click on, like, go to a different room.
Okay, great. All right, so let's go ahead and break out.
At 10 minutes, so 12:55 will reconvene.
Okay, that sounds great.
My friends, we're going to know each other really well by the end of the day here. Okay, so Jeff, I got to admit I'm a little confused here on what I need to do.
If you open the chat, you'll see your group.
Okay.
Group 1.
Okay, thank you. I did see that, but I didn't. Okay, so we are group 3.
Group 1.
Okay. So I need to scroll up here then? Okay. Yeah. All right, here I go. Here we go, folks. Thank you. Okay, we are looking at areas of focus, and what are the 7 areas of focus and why are they important?
Albuquerque, Rio Grande.
Fantastic. Okay, who else do we have in the room?
Moni Ward, and I'm with the Westside El Paso Rotary Club.
Nice to see you, Moni. Okay, who else do we have?
Yes. I understand there have been times in the past when Rotarians and non-Rotarians alike have decided they knew best what a community needed and went ahead and provided it only to have it fall flat and not meet the needs at all.
Yeah.
You
think
guys
you'd
need
have to have
a
it for accountability.
This is probably the one thing that gets projects canceled the most or rejected the most is sustainability. Would you agree?
I would agree.
The issue here is there's lots of good work to be done out there, but a project has got to have sustainability. It lasts a long time as opposed to a one-off type of project.
Okay. All right. So Bob, you're off to a great start. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and jump into another room and make sure they've got a leader taking over their discussion. So we want to talk about what is meant by sustainable. So I'm going to go ahead and let you lead the discussion and guide the participants, and I'm going to jump into another room.
Okay, Doreen, I'll do that.
Thank you so much.
So Louisa, I'll jump on. I'll ask you, what do you think of the difference between a sustainable and give me an example you would think of as a sustainable or just a one-off type of project?
Who did you ask that of, Bob?
That would be of Louisa.
Okay.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, the question, Louisa, if you would give us your thoughts on what an example of a sustainable project would be versus a one-off short-term project.
Okay, so, well, I know that for a sustainable project, I know that it has to survive even if the club, or like in this case, for example, my Rotary Club, if we stop being part of that project, like we don't have to be there so that the project keeps working, right? So last month we had like this small project, which was to distribute food and hygiene items to the homeless people. However, that wasn't sustainable because we actually had to do like everything. We had to collect money to buy the items, buy them ourselves, and then distribute it ourselves. So maybe a way to do it sustainable would be to put maybe this centers of where people can take their donations there, so that no one actually has to be there collecting them. And then like the homeless shelters, they can actually take all of those items and then actually distribute to the homeless people. So in that case, we wouldn't have to be there all the time, and it will be keep working in the long term. That's what I can think of.
Yeah, those are two good examples. Nikki, can you give us an example of what would be like a sustainable project you guys have been involved in?
One of the things that we've had some really good luck with in Lincoln, Nebraska, is that one of the schools is a partner with one of our Rotary clubs. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll work together on an idea of like literacy and how might we be able to provide school books for first graders. And then what they'll do is they'll work with the school on how they can build that into their budget for the future. And so they'll use a district grant to get it started. And the club is very involved in, distributing the books, reading to the kids. Well, not right now because of COVID, but as a general rule. And then the school works it into their budget. So then in the future, they can continue to give those books to the children. And it's not a large project because the schools obviously can't absorb that much budget, but it is a way to kind of kickstart a program, get them going, and then they take it on from there. That's worked really, really well.
Excellent. How about Moni? Did I pronounce your name correct, Moni?
Yeah, Moni's correct.
Yeah, go ahead with a sustainable project you're aware of.
What I'm aware of is we are partnering with one school here in El Paso, and the grant provides clothing for homeless students, and it was like socks and underwear, and even this year we were kind of concerned with COVID if we were still able to do that. And the school assured us that we still were able to do that program.
Excellent.
But you know what, to be honestly, I don't know if it's sustainable. I know it's the grant that we're working on, and we were able to continue even with COVID on it.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things when you're submitting the grant request to Rotary National. You've got to show them how it is sustainable, and they've got to agree with you it's sustainable. If they say no, we don't believe it's sustainable, they'll reject the application.
Yeah, my understanding that everything was all right, but just from listening at the meeting, I wasn't really that involved with it.
Yeah. And Louisa, the one thing about sustainability is that Rotarians don't have to be there all the time. Our club was involved in a water project in Guatemala where we went down and helped develop and build out this water project for them, transporting water from one area to a village. But we just have to go back on a regular basis, maybe on an annual basis, to see how it's going and see if it needs any help. But it has to be sustainable over that period of time by the people that it's benefiting a lot of times.
Yeah, and Bob, the only thing I couldn't tell you for sure if that one fell under the sustainable. I honestly didn't know.
Yeah, that's okay. That could be a sustainable project, and maybe it could be maybe more short term. You know, certainly things that have been going on lately with COVID and water and food distributions, that's not really sustainable. That's more of a one-off disaster relief kind of thing.
Yeah.
We've got to qualify for a global grant.
Yeah, it probably wasn't a global grant then.
So Bob, I've got a question then. So is the idea of sustainable kind of two things, that the value to the community will continue over time, but it'll continue over time without additional funds from Rotary? Would that summarize it?
Yes. You don't, the original influx of money is to build a project that would have a long-term benefit, but it doesn't need a constant influx of money from Rotary to be sustainable.
So I'm always puzzled by the notion that we're not to do projects that are brick and mortar, and yet to me, brick and mortar sounds like it fits the definition of sustainable better than anything else.
I have to agree with you there. That's always been a conundrum for me. Why, building a building, it was not to be an appropriate global grant. Like Tom would tell me that a school, you can't build the school, but you can supply the equipment that goes in the school, and that's sustainable. But you can't build the school.
Okay. So do things like park benches?
Yeah.
Are they called brick and mortar or not?
I've seen park benches be part of a global grant, I believe. I think that's been approved in the past.
Or how about playgrounds?
Yeah, definitely playground. There's a playground up in Rio Rancho that was I believe that was a global grant. Could have been a district grant, but I'm not a real big foundation guy. I don't know in that depth, but I believe those are all doable. But brick and mortar building buildings, I know that's always been declined.
So when we say the term brick and mortar, we're talking about literal buildings, but other things that are physical don't fall in that category.
I would, and wait till Doreen comes back and joins us. Maybe ask her that question. I think she'll
I'm back.
More on that. Okay, Doreen, the question is, brick and mortar normally isn't approved as sustainable as a global grant, but Jesse had questions about other more permanent type of structures like playgrounds or park benches. Would those count as well as brick and mortar, or could those be approved
Okay, it looks like we're back in the main session. So, have everybody back. I got to hear many of your discussions and they sounded very productive. Do you have a spokesperson in each group?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Wonderful. All right, so our experts in the areas of focus, who is your spokesperson?
That's going to be Jenny.
Okay, Jenny, tell us about the areas of focus.
Okay, 1, water and sanitation. 2, maternal and child health. 3, environment. 4, peace. 5, conflict resolution. 6, fighting disease. 7, basic education.
Okay, fantastic. And why are they important?
They're important because they comprehensively go hand in hand, making our world a better place for everyone. And that was a quote taken from Kathy.
Okay. And remember in the very beginning, I said to think about our aims and our means with the Rotary Foundation mission. And our aims were world peace and understanding, goodwill. And doesn't that align perfectly with the mission of the Rotary Foundation?
Most definitely.
It really ties in. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other comments from the group that you want to share with us, Jenny?
Arturo is working on an amazing project for the world, and he's helping his Rotary is working on children heart surgeries down in Chihuahua, Mexico City, and Monterey. And they are raising money for machines to help facilitate the blood flow as the surgery is happening. He could probably do this way better than I could because he's an amazing Rotarian, and proud to be on this group with him.
Thank you, Jenny.
Well, Jenny, you're pretty amazing Rotarian too.
Yes, she is.
Thank you.
I've known you for a long time, and Arturo, you are absolutely, you're all amazing Rotarians, and Arturo, I know you've been so instrumental in those projects. So thank you for sharing that with everybody.
He has heart for the heart.
Yes. Okay, so it sounds like you had a great discussion in your group. Thank you for working on that. Mm-hmm. Group 2 had sustainability. And who is your spokesperson for group 2?
I think really Bob was leading that discussion.
Okay, Bob.
I was taking notes. I'll put them up here if you'd like to see them, Bob.
Okay.
Okay, well, I think a discussion on that. The main difference there is the impact, whether it's a short-term impact or a long-term impact, and how it's managed. Unsustainable or more one-off type projects like somebody brought up, food distributions to pueblos during the pandemic, or a disaster relief. Those would be more short-term, non-sustainable. Sustainable doesn't mean that it has to be funded over a long period of time. It just has to be a project that lasts over a long period of time and has a long-term benefit to the people that it's performed for. And Rotarians don't have to be there the entire time. They just need to go back occasionally and see how the project has progressed and if any help is needed to continue the sustainability. One thing that was brought up, and it's been a conundrum for me as well, is how Rotary International the Rotary Foundation will not approve brick and mortar construction projects as a global grant, but they will. So any construction, although it sounds sustainable, will not be approved. For instance, a school needs to be built. The community builds a school, but Rotary can put the equipment in the school.
Okay. All right, and what about, does the project need to be able to support itself financially at the conclusion of the project?
I believe that's the case, yes.
Yeah, so, and then why why is sustainability important in a project? Why does Rotary have that focus? Did you have any discussion on that?
No, we more talked about the what, not the why.
Okay. So I just want to add, because I know we only had 10 minutes. In the past, before sustainability was such a strong requirement, I think it's always been a desirable outcome. There would be projects to put in wells, for example, and pumps, but there wasn't any requirement to train the local people on how to maintain those pumps and wells. And so you'd see a lot of abandoned infrastructure in developing countries with rotary wheels on them that were rusting away. And what does that do for Rotary's image?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's another reason why sustainability is so important. We don't want to show up and do something and then leave and have it fail. So that's why it's pretty important. So thank you, Governor Bob, and the whole team there for tackling sustainability. It's not an easy topic. And in group 3, who is our spokesperson?
That would be moi, George.
Okay, George.
Ah, très bien, très bien.
George, bravo.
So you had a pretty weighty topic too. Can you tell us about it?
Well, weighty, but I think it's kind of common sense. Let's see. Our topic was, one of the requirements for a global grant is that a community assessment needs to be conducted. And the complication here is, we as a local club in the United States want to do a global project. We cannot do a community assessment from over here by ourselves. Mm-hmm. So there's several ways we can get information to do that assessment. We can, of course, we'll have a partner club. So if we wanted to do something to benefit the country of Zimbabwe, we could contact the Rotary Club there and get their assistance in what's needed in the local community. Mm-hmm. We could also go through a non-government organization, you know, an NGO with, if it was a medical project, we could go through the World Health Organization or Doctors Without Borders. And then, and then we would have to partner with a local club in the foreign country, and they would be doing most of the paperwork. Let's see. So that's how the community assessment would get accomplished from basically by going through those other organizations.
Okay, they're great partners. And now that we have the larger group together, I still can't remember the Rotary Foundation's term for this person that's part of the liaison. But those people will go to the project site. That was one of the questions that was asked. Let me dismiss this. So the liaisons that are volunteers that will help you with some of the technical aspects will go to the project site and offer assistance, not necessarily with a needs assessment, but with any kind of consulting or oversight that you might need. Looks like there is a comment. Let me see if the chat is for something here. Oh, cadre. Thank you, Nikki. The cadre of technical advisors, is that what it is? But I know cadre's in there. So anyway, the cadre will come to the site and help you with some of the technical aspects of your project. What are the pitfalls of not doing an effective community needs assessment? What could possibly go wrong?
A lot of things.
Okay, any example? There's lots of horror stories out there. There's one in my curriculum I can share with you if we have time for a chuckle. But what are some bad things that you know about that can happen if you don't do a good needs assessment?
You waste your money on something the community doesn't need or want.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, like the example they gave in the curriculum was an international sponsor decided that a community needed sustainable agriculture. So they went to a lot of trouble to introduce rabbit breeding, and no one in that culture ate rabbits. So
yeah, good example.
Well, and it's kind of an example of how we don't always know what's best in other cultures or communities. So we need to let them be the guide on that. All right. Okay, so we have just a few more minutes. Jeff, we're done at 12:10, is that correct?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
1:10. Well, 12:10.
Oh, 12:10 Pacific time, sorry.
Yeah.
There I go talking Canadian again. No. I'm in a different time zone. All right, so what other, in the last couple of minutes, what other comments would you like to share or questions you might want to ask?
Well, I have a comment. One of the things that draws me to Rotary in general is my ability to leverage myself, my time, my money, my dedication, my dreams. I see global and district grants as a phenomenal way to make a much bigger difference than I could make on my own. So this is a subject very dear to my heart.
I agree with that. I have a similar feeling about that. Anybody else?
Kathy has something.
So we were talking about the by-district conference coming up in October, and there was a conversation that maybe there might be a third district that can join us. Do we know if, the possibility of that? Could it be a Canadian district by any chance? Steve?
Not at the moment, but there's certainly that possibility. We've extended invitations to 5730, I believe it is, to our east in Texas, and also to the Colorado district immediately to our north. We're thinking, since it's going to be virtual, Doreen, that other districts could come in and observe and see whether it's something that entices them, whether they'd want to be a part of ours or start their own.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. We have a fantastic team putting this together.
Oh, that's so exciting.
It is.
The Colorado district used to be part of it. We were a tri-district.
Yes.
Okay, very cool. Well, you know, the
So,
thing about,
Doreen,
yes.
I would just like to thank you. You have made a wonderful presentation.
Oh, well, thank you, Don.
Formative for me. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I learned from everybody here, so I want to express my appreciation for all the knowledge that was shared among the group, and it's a real honor and privilege to be a part of this session. I do want to share that in this online environment, it certainly presents some challenges, but as the discussion, you know, goes with, you know, being able to include other districts, there are definitely some innovations that have come about due to our COVID restrictions. So for every constraint we have, maybe there's another door opening in the form of opportunities that we weren't able to pursue before.
Like having you on our faculty.
Yeah, it would be a long commute, that's right.
Yes, it would.
Okay, well, all of you stay safe and be healthy, and thank you for including me today.
Thank you for joining us, Doreen.
Thanks so much.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you probably thought when you were first signing up for this